Hello, my name is Lee Young, and I am a third grade teacher at Colonial Trail Elementary School, and these are my students here in room 208. So, boys and girls, we have been talking this week about the QAR strategy, the question, answer, response strategy, and how good readers ask questions throughout every book that they read. So today, I'm going to read to you a story called Egbert, the Slightly Cracked Egg by Tom Ross. And when I'm done reading it, I would like for you in your groups to go ahead and brainstorm a right there strategy, a think and search, slow down strategy, an author in you stop strategy, and then a connect strategy. And I'll explain how that's going to work after we're done reading the story. There was once an egg named Egbert. He loved to paint beautiful pictures. Egbert's paintings always cheered up the other eggs in the refrigerator. But one day it was discovered that Egbert was slightly cracked. Eggs with cracked shells were not allowed to stay. Sadly, the other eggs told Egbert he would have to leave. Egbert waved goodbye to his old friends. He hunched his shoulders, what little shoulders he had, and pressed his shell together so that the crack almost disappeared. Then he set out to look for a new place to live. All the drawers had labels, but none of them was right for Egbert. He knew he would have to look harder. There had to be some place where he would fit in. Before long, Egbert came to a spot with a beautiful view. If only I could stay here, he thought. Then he had a great idea. No one had to know that he was an egg with a cracked shell. He would paint himself to look like the other things around him. He'd blend right in. But just as Egbert was thinking he'd found the perfect place, a potato plant happened to notice his crack. "Split," the plant ordered. Egbert tried not to be discouraged. "Maybe I'll have better luck outdoors," he said to himself. The only way down was to jump. I wonder what will happen.
I think he's going to crack.
Let's see. Luckily, Egbert landed in a soft bed of flowers. He had never seen flowers before, but they smelled even better than butter and lettuce. Perhaps this is the perfect place for me, he thought. A dab here, a splotch there. Voila! Egbert was covered with flowers. But late that afternoon, an angry bee discovered that you cannot get nectar from an egg. Again, Egbert was told to leave. It was getting dark and he still had not found a place to live. Just when he thought he was about to give up all hope, a glimmer of something caught his eye. Does anyone want to take a guess at what that glimmer was? What caught his eye? Joshua?
The sun.
The sun, let's see. Good prediction. "What beautiful little lights," Egbert whispered. With all his might and twice his usual care, he climbed up the fence. "Perfect," Egbert said when he was covered with stars. So something else bright. You're right about it being in the sky. It just wasn't day any longer. But the next morning, when the night stars were gone, a cat discovered that Egbert was just an egg with a cracked shell. "Scramble," said the cat. Egbert took a hard fall on the sidewalk. Now he was more cracked than ever. As it started to rain, he began to sob. He realized that no matter how he painted himself, he could not hide who he was. Poor Egbert. Finally, the rain stopped and the sun broke through a crack in the clouds. Egbert began to notice something he had never noticed in his whole life. The world was full of cracks, all sorts of wonderful cracks. Maybe it's not such a bad thing to be slightly cracked, he thought. From then on, Egbert traveled around the world, making new friends and seeing famous cracked sites. So we see a volcano with lava erupting. But he never forgot his friends back home in the fridge, and he painted them beautiful postcards of his travels. They were well and truly amazed, and they missed him, if the truth be told. To this day, Egbert does not regret being cracked. In fact, he is even a little proud of it. Okay, so that was our story about Egbert and his adventure. What I would like for each group to do now, you have your Post-it notes and you have a poster with the kinds of QAR questions you're going to answer only at the table you're at. So as a group, I would like you to brainstorm questions that a good reader would ask about this story and place them on your Post-it note. After a few minutes, I'm going to have every group rotate, and we talked about which direction we'll rotate in clockwise. So I'll have this group here move to the back. You'll move to the right. This group will come up here, and my author and you questions group will move over here. Okay? Are there any questions on what it is you need to do? Everyone's okay? Thumbs up? We're good? Perfect. All right. So then let's begin. And I'll be coming around to hear some of your ideas and share some thoughts myself. Correct. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and write those ideas down on our Post-it notes? Do you guys you still need some more think time? Some new ideas? Remember, you can look at the poster and see what other questions we can ask about this story in the stop, author and stop. Who is the main idea? That's for another group. See, she's already thinking ahead. Who is the main character? Good.
Just write it down just in case.
It's been talked about in any other subject areas.
It's good to be different.
Trying to fit in, trying to look like something else.
Spell different.
No? Think about it a little bit more. Think about what we talked about in science, maybe?
I'm going to write
What else do we have here?
story.
Karthikeya. Let's see. So maybe you want to go ahead and write that question as well. So you can include your answer, but I would like you to have your question on. Don't forget your questions. What is the question? You're answering your questions, which is good, but don't forget the question itself. Good. I like that you wrote it in a question form. Make sure you're writing questions. What kind of question could you ask what kind of question would a good reader ask to answer that question? No, that's perfect. I'm just trying to have the rest of your group here see if they can come up with some questions as well that they can add. Okay, what do you think?
I got one. Who told that Egbert to leave?
Okay, perfect. So go ahead and write that down on your sheet. Sahasra, what do you think? How did Egbert? What could we ask about how? All right, give it another minute. You're thinking of a how question. What do we have?
You should probably have first.
I like Soha's question. Why did Egbert leave?
You want me to just take it on because
What a
period, it's a question mark. Oh yeah.
Rona, can we think of a where question? with Egbert? Where did... Maybe where did Egbert go?
I'm doing that. Where he used to live.
Where did he live? Very good. What was the plot? Excellent. See, now you guys are getting it. Good. What would you... Oh, I like this one. Did you answer this? Okay. What would you feel if you got correct? You'd feel sad?
Stop and go back and
Have you ever been lonely? Oh, I like that question. It's a sad question, but I think we can all relate to that, can't we? All right, are we getting the hang of it? Okay. Okay, boys and girls, one more minute. I think you're getting the hang of it now. We're going to go ahead and switch to the next group. Yeah, you'll want to do questions, by the way. This should be this way, so the sticky side goes down. But you know what you can do? You can just go ahead and pull this off and fold it under. All right, finish up that thought. All right, my red group, go ahead and move to my green table. My green table, can you start to make your way to the blue? And the blue group, can I have you make your way? Okay, finish up your last thought. And then actually, if you would, just get up, the rest of you get up and move over. And then that will allow the other students to come in and have a seat. Okay? Remember, take a look at what the group wrote before so that you're not duplicating or writing again the same questions. They've got some good questions already started, don't they? I know you can add a lot more to this because there's a lot of questions in the right there go section. Okay. Wow. You guys are adding questions already. Excellent. How would you feel if you were in a new place? Okay, she was just finishing up a thought. Okay, why don't you just come over here and stand in between Zoe and Soha? It's probably better anyway, you can see the poster there. Okay. All right, let's see. Why did Egbert feel proud of himself that he had a crack? Do you think he felt proud of himself at the end of the story? Why do you think that? Because it said so in the story. What other clues were there in the story about his actions? What did he do that made you believe that he was happy? Yeah, he saw other sites that were cracked, and he traveled to many different places, didn't he? Okay, excellent. I'll leave you to keep coming, to keep brainstorming new questions. All right. Egbert, yep. What do you think? The reason author wrote this book is to show us it is good to be yourself. Do you agree with that? I think so, yeah.
That guy was proud of himself when he was cracked because all the
Good. So he didn't feel so alone, right? He saw that there were other things that were correct. Good. Okay, see if that question's already on there before you write it. Why did the cat... Ah. Okay.
Or you can say what happened to go.
What happened to him? Okay. Very good. Yeah, go ahead and take the red off so nobody gets confused. It's a good question. How do we feel when we get soggy? When you're outside and it's rainy? Lonely? Oh, they do?
I would
Okay.
definitely feel sorry for myself.
You would feel sorry for yourself?
I would definitely.
Does this story remind you of anything that we've been studying in science? How so?
Like the cardiac or like some other flowers.
And why is it trying to do that? So he can fit in. Interesting.
Does this story remind me?
All right, ladies, what else have we been able to think about in our slow down? A question that somebody would have to take some time to look through the book to answer. Ooh, what caused? That's a good start to a question. Oh, so you wrote a question that actually belongs on a different chart? Okay, so leave that. Save it, and when you get to the next group, you can add it to that poster. But just, if you forgot or need some reminders, look at what it says about slow down. The answer is in the story, but you have to search for it on different pages. So retelling, how did, can you compare the egg to something else? What would happen after Egbert fell off the wall? Okay. All right, what do we have? Okay, so you thought he was going to go find a new home? But didn't he kind of find a new home by changing himself? Okay. He never built a home. Okay, I see what you're thinking now. Thank you for visiting our third grade classroom here at Colonial Trails Elementary.